Peace, love, and light to everybody viewing in, tuning in. All right, let me get the disclaimer out of the way and we can get down to it. My content is for educational purposes only. Can't stress enough for all my viewers to do your own research. Appraise my content and inform me if you run across any errors. I don't feel like my cup of knowledge is full. I'm infallible. I'm fallible, not infallible. So I'm capable of making mistakes. You inform me, I'll correct it. No ego, no none of that. None of us have been alive long enough to know all there is. None of us have been alive long enough to know all that transpired in the past, and none of us can live long enough to know all there is to learn. With that being stated, I gotta go ahead and pour me a little, pour me a little sip for this one. This one here is gonna be heavy. Yeah, I'm doing it real light, but I'm doing it. Hey man, I ain't really came up with a topic for this one yet, but it's based off of some research that I've been doing. I'm close to, launching my channel, man. Like, I'm excited about that, man. You can expect to see a lot of different, a lot of variety on my channel, man. Not just, spiritual wisdom, and information, but, all types of different information. A plethora of information, man. I study diverse topics. I try to stay in the know as it relates to what's really going on, instead of what show is playing and what game is on, who fighting, all that. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's cool, but it's a little too late in the game, I feel, to be focused on things such as that. So with no further ado, let me take a little sip. Yeah, y'all might want to check it on out. This will last me about a month and a half, 2 months, but nice. You should try it if you into drinking. I'm just saying, hey, it is what it is. Shout out to the friend of mine that turned me on to that. All right, now, the subject matter of this video is going to be dealing with some of the things that I've been, mentioning in the videos that I've done thus far. Anybody that's been following and watching, I've made mention, to governmental programs dealing with mind control and, social engineering, all that whole piece there. A lot of times I find myself, I've had discussions, where people, say, well, they only looking at the effects and not looking at the causes, and as far as us, I can only speak for, Aboriginal or African or Ebenoid, melanated men. Our condition on a collective level, man, it's not no coincidence, man. Not to make no excuses for nobody. I don't even make excuses for myself, man. I done did wrong. I done made mistakes, but at the end of the day, man, as an adult, man, it's your responsibility and obligation to, to correct those errors. And I'm still in process of correcting mine. So there is no excuse as it relates to that. However, I'm going to just shed a little light on one of the causes. Again, this is just to shed light on, you know, the fact that when I say things, you know, based off of prior knowledge of a thing. In this particular case, we're going to talk about MK Ultra, Project MK Ultra. I'm going to read, you know, something that I wrote down, you know, relevant to the research. You know, this is light research. This is just, you know, surface level stuff. But it's not surface level stuff because you would first of all have to have known about it, been privy to the program to even know how to look it up. And, you know, let me just get into it, man. Project MK Ultra, or MK-Ultra, was the code name of an illegal human experimental program designed and undertaken by the U.S. Central Intelligence Agency, also known as the CIA. The experiments were intended to develop procedures and identify drugs such as LSD, otherwise known as lysergic acid diethylamide, that could be used in interrogations to weaken individuals and force confessions through brainwashing and psychological torture. I'm going to bring your attention to brainwashing. That is a term that has a definition, you know, and I'm gonna give you a little tidbit of information, man. When you say, like, for instance, if you go to Wikipedia, you know, on your phone or whatever, and talk into your phone to get a definition of a word, sometimes you got to tap a button or two to go a little further than the initial definition that they give you, or you have to ask for the etymological definition of a thing, you know, to get deeper into the meaning, or give a broader, more defined meaning. And, you know, the etymon, you know, I was introduced to etymology through Brother Taj Tariq Bey, the elder. You know, I'm just somebody, man, that, you know, when I hear stuff, like, you know, when I was incarcerated in the mid '90s, you know, I read this is off subject real quick. You know, I read the autobiography of Malcolm X. This is prior to the movie coming out, I believe. Yeah. Anyway, I read that book, man, and I was inspired to do what he did with the dictionary. I didn't go as extensive as he did. However, you know, it was impossible for me to come across a word, or somebody utter a word, or me read something and come across a word that I was unfamiliar with, without going straight to my dictionary and looking it up, writing down the definition. Then, once I understood what the word meant, continue on reading, and later on come back to the definition and commit it to memory. That's how I expounded my vocabulary and learned to be able to, you know, flip my cat from basic street talk, you know, or Ebonics, to being able to throw that suit on and go into, you know, and don't get it twisted. Like, you know, I'm just being candid on this camera here. I'm being who I am. You know, ain't no airs or no facades and none of that. You know, however, if necessary and whenever necessary, I can and will articulate myself and present myself in a manner that is above and beyond what you guys have been used to seeing here on this channel. unnamed thus far, but you know, it is what it is. This is gonna be it. This is what it is. Can't put the name out there until it's protected, though. Like I said, that's in development, baby. It's in development. All right, so getting back to it, MK Ultra used numerous methods to manipulate its subjects' mental states, brain functions, such as the covert administration of high doses of psychoactive drugs, especially LSD, and other chemicals, electroshock, hypnosis, sensory deprivation, isolation, verbal and sexual abuse, in addition to other forms of torture. It's ironic, that I decided to go ahead and look this up to get a little bit of extensive information into this subject matter, man, because this is mainly for those that are from the perspective and the position that the government ain't going to do this and they ain't going to do that. It's evident if you, from that perspective, you have yet to research this government. And I'm not a government hater. At the end of the day, man, I mean, it just is what it is, man. I'm like I said in the previous video, man, I'm for the people, man. And what I see out of this government is that it's not for the people. Once you get past the facade and the illusions that they put out there, you'll find that they're for themselves. Those that fall in the ranks of government and associates and affiliates, i.e. those who have money to fund them. That's who they advocate for. That's how politics work. So quick sidebar, now that we on that subject and I came across that, that's where we lacking at. That's where we failing at as a people. I think it was Dr. James Small. What was his name? Dr. Smalls. I believe, he was on one of the Hidden Colors documentaries, and he talks about group economics and how we need to get it together and open businesses and practice group economics to keep the dollar in rotation longer than 5 or 6 hours in our community. So that way, like if I got an eatery, I if I were to have one, it would be damn near vegan, if not a vegan spot. You know what I mean? Because I'm trying to spread health and wellness to the people. But people would patronize my business. I need a shape up, I need a haircut or whatever the case, or my daughter need her hair did, her hair braided or whatnot. I'll patronize, another business, a melanated business, and keep that money in. Black Wall Street was the blueprint, man. I don't know that we, scared of getting together and uniting and unifying and uniformity and synchronicity as it relates to business, and the betterment of ourselves and our communities, because we can't depend on these police. They only come when shit happen, after shit's already done, when somebody laying there. You dig what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, man, it's going to be on us. Shout out to KO and them, you know what I mean? Because they on that route right now. You know what I mean? Not in our neighborhood. That's what some of the T-shirts say. Yeah, and that's what it's going to take, man. It's going to take those of us that came up in these neighborhoods, those of us that used to run blocks, things of that nature. Those of us that know the game inside out, that know, the darker side of things, and been in that and done that and know how to do that, and not to glorify that or bring that back, but to try to, that those of us that been there and done that, we have what's necessary to curb that. You know what I mean? Because if you really look at it, man, a lot of these young brothers out here, man, they hurting, man. You know what I mean? Not on no weak shit, but I'm saying, like, they without fathers. You know what I mean? They grew up in single parent households and had to be the man of the house, which is like a misnomer. But at the end of the day, I mean, they had to do what they had to do, man. Because, like, what else you gonna do when circumstances is what it is, man? Some people's moms was on drugs. I mean, I've been there. I know what it's about. But it's going to take individuals like us to initiate the changes that are necessary in our environments. Because you look at it, man, how many police that live in the hood? Exactly. So, the whole thing is, man, like, depending on the police force, come on, man, that, their job security, you got to think about it, man. I was living in the suburbs for 3 years, man, just recently. And I'm going to tell you, man, in them 3 years, I might have seen the police 3 times, maybe 4. So what does that tell me? I'm going to tell you what that tells me. It tells me that it's all about the demographics. See, projects are projects, scientific projects, and the outcome projects what they expected. In the hood, in the inner city, where you got the liquor stores on 3 out of 4 corners, and you got a church on 2.5 out of 5 corners, that's where you see the police like spiders waiting to pounce on, and they preying upon. It's listen, man, it's deeper than what people care to like keep it funky. You know what I mean? It's deeper than what people care to like really put it out there. And it took for me to be in the suburbs for them 3 years, to really see the difference, man. It's like night and day, man. Not to say that nothing goes down in the suburbs. Actually, that's where they're trying to reroute all of us. They're trying to reroute all of us out in the the former suburban areas, and them areas is going to be what the hood is now and what the hood's been for years. You see all the construction going on. You think they buying up all that property for nothing? I'm telling you, man, you be fortunate to be able to afford to live in the hood once they get done with doing what they doing. FYI, you heard it here. I don't think you heard it here first. I mean, because those of us that know, we know. That's what they doing. So anyway, getting back to it, man. We can't depend on outsiders to fix our situation, man. It's never been and it's never going to be. So moving on. MK Ultra was produced by 2 drug-related experiments. It was preceded by 2 drug-related experiments. One by the name of Project Bluebird, and I'm going to get into that after this. The other one was Project Artichoke, and that'll be for another video. But, Project Artichoke, just like the vegetable. Excuse me. So, anybody that's watching, all you got to do is do your own search, and it'll tell you, what I mean, what it entailed, So MK Ultra was preceded by 2 drug-related experiments, Project Bluebird and Project Artichoke. It began in 1953 then was reduced in scope in 1964 and 1967, and was then halted. It was halted in 1973. It was organized through the CIA's Office of Scientific Intelligence and coordinated with the United States Army Biological Warfare Laboratories. The program I gotta check out my chicken scratch. I was writing this thing real fast, you know what I mean? Okay, the program engaged in illegal activities, including the use of U.S. and Canadian citizens as unwitting test subjects. You understand what I'm saying? Unwitting. So basically against their will. It's a nice way of saying against their will. And you know, that just go to show you, man, how far is that from what happened in Germany, in Nazi Germany. You know, some people ain't had no choice in the matter. All they did have a choice: die right here on the spot, or get herded to where we gonna do you in at. You decide. You know. So I mean, don't put the main reason behind me putting this video out and getting into this information is, man, don't you say or assume what they won't do. I used to tell people all the time down at the job, yeah, man, we've been studied, man. We've been dissected, you know, and it's going to blow your mind. I told you the date, 1953. It began in 1953. What's this, 2022? Now, they've been delving into now, understand, that's what they're putting out. That's what they declassified. It gets deeper, though. Just rock with me. Hold on. All right. Okay. The program. Okay, hold on. No. Okay. MK Ultra's scope was broad, with activities. Pardon me, y'all. Oh, with activities. Oh my goodness. Damn, I wrote this a little too fast. I can't even make out what the hell. Pardon me for this, y'all. All right, MK Ultra scope was broad with activities